Welcome to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. If you have any questions, you can give us a call at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Hey, everybody, this is Attilio. I know I left you guys hanging on the last show because I didn't finish up. Well, just to get you, it's kind of like Netflix, you know, I got to do the intro part so I can get you up to speed from the last episode to today. So don't hit that skip intro button. But we were talking about the book written by Tony Robbins, Life Force, and a company called Applied Science and Performance put about $65,000 worth of equipment on him, did blood tests, all kind of tests, hourly blood tests with him, that when Tony Robbins was coaching and or teaching in these sessions like Unleash the Power, which is like a whole weekend, and with all the running around he does, and staying on the stage and out for hours and hours and hours, people were thinking he's an alien. He doesn't even have to go to the bathroom. He hasn't eaten anything, and his energy is just up, 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 up. So they say, so I wanted to read to you why you should get this book here, because I tell you, Tony Robbins is, with all his hundreds of millions of dollars, what's the one thing he's focused on?
Learning, health, and just, you know, like, it's not just Tony who's written the book. He's collaborated with other professionals and done some, you know, very intentional partnerships with the people that he's, you know, gathered the data from.
Yeah, I see if I can find it quick enough, but there were like a whole bunch of PhD and medical doctors that are part of this research that he's done. Oh, here we go. Dean Ornish, David, MD, PhD, George Church, Deepak, 1, 2, 3. You know what? It's all MDs and PhDs that researches health. And this is who we collaborated with on this book. So it's not some anecdotal stories from Tony Robbins trying to get you jacked up about health. It's factual things that he's found out in his own life.
Yeah, and shared his own personal success and given examples, you know, from, you know, like his shoulder and some things that he was able to do to avoid, you know, a surgery.
His vocal cords, everything, tumor in his brain. You'd be amazed at all the stuff that he's gone through, and he's still here. Running up and down. And by the way, and we said, don't buy the expensive tickets in the front row. Sorry, Tony. Why? Because we've been to an event, and what does Tony do?
He works the crowd. He's all over the room.
All up and down, all up and down. So if you're in the nosebleed seats, he might be up in there in front of you. Well, not in the big ones.
He's on the floor. He's on the floor.
On the floor.
At the Business Mastery, he was walking around the floor.
So his caloric burn one day at Unleash the Power. 11,300 calories, just 300 calories, just to put that into context. We burn about 2,000 per day just doing normal stuff. It's the equivalent of 2.5 marathons or 10 NHL hockey practices or 2.5 NBA games. That's what he's burning every day. Lactic acid threshold. What is lactic acid, Adrienne? How do we know we have lactic acid after a workout?
Because our muscles get sore.
The muscles get sore.
But for some reason, your muscles don't seem to get sore.
Maybe I'm like Tony Robbins. He has double the lactic acid of an NBA game, 4 times greater the lactic acid threshold. At a threshold of 4, you are running with a friend. You cannot speak. Tony is still speaking at the threshold of 18 or 12 of 18 for 12 to 13 hours. So again, 4 is like 4 times your normal rate because you did a workout. His is 18 times that.
Wow.
And for you to get to a level 4, you literally have to be running so fast you couldn't talk. And he's running up and down,
jumping,
and talking.
Yeah, and just, you know, getting everyone in the crowd excited.
Yeah. So next up, we got
someone who is going to get us excited about mortgage rates and what's happening in the mortgage world.
And who's that, Adrienne?
We have Corey from the Loan Depot.
Hey, Corey, what you got for us?
How's it going, guys?
Good. All right, what you got for us this week?
Well, so I'd say the big news today, since you guys happened to call, it's Fed Day today. So the Federal Reserve, they had their meeting today.
Okay.
And all indications are showing rate cuts in March, April at the latest.
That is great news.
Cool.
Yeah. So people can go on, check the I think Jerome Powell, you know, these guys like to play it coy, but they say, you know, a rate cut in March is not unlikely, is what he said today.
Yeah,
so
I think
March rate cut
and even if
is not likely.
And a rate, even if they did nothing to the rates, that's good too. And just left them alone.
So, and they didn't go up.
Yeah, as long as
they didn't go up.
Yeah.
And I certainly, I mean, the other thing we're seeing on our end, on the lender side is, I think one thing that people don't necessarily realize is banks forecast ahead of what is going to happen.
Uh-huh.
So some of the pricing is already improved just on the forecast of 3 to 6 rate cuts over the course of 2024.
Yeah.
So you can kind of already take advantage of better rates now from where we were even a couple months ago, 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Rates have already improved quite a bit. So I think that's another thing too, is some people want to wait for the actual rate cut. But banks forecast in these things well in advance. So it's one of those things, take advantage before, you can still get a pretty sharp rate right now, and take advantage of that before it gets, what I think it gets too low.
Yeah.
A bunch of buyers jump in. And
so would you say, Corey, that the strategy would be like, let's get under contract or be out shopping now, and that you can always like float down the rate once it, adjusts?
Oh, absolutely.
So
yeah.
Be ready.
I think the next 60 to 90 days, get in contract, get going while you can, because as soon as I think they finally announce that, hey, this rates are cutting, it's going to signal to people that they should be buying a house. And if you can lock in a house and get it in contract now, that's going to be great for you.
All right. Thanks, Corey.
Thanks for the awesome update. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
All righty.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was Corey from the Loan Depot. You can get a hold of any of our experts we trust by going to our tab on our website, the resource tab.
Yeah.
And find out about all of our experts that we trust.
By the way, just Google teamlally.com. We're happy to help you with any of our resources. Even if it's not there, we'll help you, because all you got to do is call us, 799-9596, 799-9596. In fact, if you're hearing the show right now and you have a question for us, give us a call.
Or send us an email, info@teamlally.com, and we're happy to answer your question live on the next radio show.
Back to Tony Robbins at his Unleash the Power. So two more stats I want to share with you. Physical stress. So I already shared with you his caloric burn, 11,300 calories. Lactic acid threshold is 18 times more than the professional athletes by a factor. And then physical stress over 1,100 jumps, which is 1 million pounds of pressure. By the way, he weighs 282 pounds. So he's a big dude, but he's in shape. He's not like fluffy or anything.
He's very tall.
So at 282 pounds times four, pressure is at times 1,000 jumps equals 1 million pounds of pressure on his knees, his feet, his hips, and everything. Biological makeup. Tony Robbins' bone mass is 99.9% more dense than the average population. Wait a minute. He might be an alien.
Could be.
He could be.
I wonder what his secret is.
Yeah. Tony Robbins has 15 pounds more lean body mass than an NFL lineman. Let's see here. And then the company that was doing all this study, Applied Science and Performance Institute, has studied Stanley Cup and Super Bowl champions, Navy SEALs, Olympic gold medalists, and published hundreds of studies on longevity. The information above is based on studying Tony Robbins across 5 events over 3 years. So they didn't just do it one day and then slap up this information.
So it might be a good idea to pick up this book and read through it. I mean, it is a large book. However, you can pick the topic that most interests you, and you don't need to read it from like cover to cover. You can skip around to, specific chapters that are of interest.
But so I mean, there's like a section on heroes of the regenerative medicine revolution. What can you do now? Tackling the top 6 killers: longevity, mindset, and fulfillment. Everything's in this book. A guy like Tony Robbins, this is what he does for a living. He isn't some guy that like, oh, maybe I should check this out. He's talking, preaching. Millions and millions of people pay millions and millions of dollars to hear what he has to say. And so he's taking on that responsibility of going out there and doing the research and putting it together in a book. So easy. All you got to do is read the book called Life Force by Tony Robbins. And
you know what I'm excited about? We're going to get to see Tony Robbins
at Keller Williams convention in Vegas.
Yes.
Tony
at
Robbins.
the end of February. We're so excited to see him and Mel Robbins as well. So,
hey, you know what? If you're a top producing agent, not with KW, and you want to see how can I get there, all you got to do is give us a call. And
we might be able to get you a ticket and a hotel room.
Ticket and a hotel room, and you can come hang out with Adrienne and myself, Team Lally, and our crew. See what it's like. We promise we won't roofie you and then make you join our cult called KW, because that's not what we do. We just want to part the curtain, show you what it's like to be part of the KW family and all the support. 180,000 agents nationwide. We're in every small, medium, and large market, and I think like 60 different countries.
And I was actually looking at the schedule, and it looks like Tony is going to be opening up, and then Mel is closing up the the event.
Oh, cool!
So it's like they're bookending. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, what's cool about Mel Robbins is she's got an awesome podcast and it's doing very well.
Yes, I quite enjoy it.
Yeah.
So speaking of somebody that I enjoy, we have Dan Palomino from the Big Islands.
Giving us the kind of like the surf report version of the real estate report for the Big Island of Hawaii. We got Dan Palomino. Hey, Dan.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Always great.
We were just talking about family reunion and Tony Robbins and how excited that we were to be going to be connecting with all these agents.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm a Mel Robbins fan myself. I listen to her podcast when I'm driving down the road. She just had one recently on her three key ideas on happiness, the secrets to success on happiness.
Nice.
Which, anytime somebody talks about some secrets to happiness, I always kind of lean in and tune in and to hear what they have or what their particular ideas are.
Yeah. And she said, massage chairs, drink more water, and take deep breaths.
And
no, I'm sure it was something else in that.
The other one she had was about the ADHD. I found that quite interesting.
Yes, it's called neural diversity.
So she's got a wide variety of topics.
Awesome. Well, what you got for us, Dan?
Well, it's pretty steady, I would say. I mean, I don't want to beat the same drum. I mean, sales continue to be down, but I think it's definitely leveled off. We don't see sales becoming worse. We don't see sales becoming greater. It's pretty much very, very stable. Inventory here is still under 100 units for houses, and condos are hanging around the 60 to 70 range for available. So, again, sales were up a slight amount, over the last couple of months, but I would expect that because it's our season, and this is when a lot of people are on island, and so you see more activity and you see more sales, but, no big jumps. The graph is not jumping up and it's not jumping down.
Gotcha. Wow, that's a good
and prices. Yeah. And prices are pretty stable.
Prices are pretty stable. Okay.
Again, don't see any great gains in prices. Don't see any great drops. And as I was talking with somebody on the mainland today, and they said, what are you seeing? And I said, it's pretty evident that if you have a property in the zones, the vacation rental zones, those properties are continuing to do well.
Gotcha.
It doesn't matter if it's a condo. It doesn't mean if it's a single-family home. If it's in the vacation rental zone, it will sell. It will sell quickly. It'll probably sell for asking price, or sometimes over. The county is still playing around with their draft of their new short-term vacation rentals bill or law that they want to put in place. They're starting a series of 6 town halls across the island so people can have input. So far, the input is overwhelmingly against it because basically what the county is trying to do is they are trying to get rid of really all non-conforming use permits.
Yeah.
So if you are, their ultimate goal is to get to a scenario where the short-term vacation rentals are only in the zones. That's it. Just in resorts. They don't want them outside. And so they're going to put downward pressure on people who have permits that are outside of the zones for sure.
Got to be in the zone.
Of course, yep, got to be in the zone. And of course, anytime that conversation goes up about limiting people's property rights, you're going to have people push back. And so I think, I think what you're going to see over the next 5 town halls is a considerable amount of people pushing back, and whether or not the county council takes that into consideration or not, I don't know. Yeah. It seems as though they seem to do what they want to do anyway. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
Gotcha.
So would you say that if you're looking to buy a vacation rental on Big Island, it would be safer to search in the areas that are already resort zoned, because we don't know where the laws are going to go either way?
Yeah.
100%. 100%. We had a couple that was in from Alaska that was looking to buy up in Waikoloa Village. Mm-hmm. And that obviously is not in a zone, all of Waikoloa Village. However, there are some buildings and complexes in Waikoloa Village that allow short-term vacation rentals. And they've been grandfathered in.
Yeah.
And how long they'll be grandfathered in, or how long they'll be permitted to continue that, I have no idea. I can't imagine that it's going to stick very long, because it is a very residential primary home area where people, who work and live on the island live there. And I can see that would go away. So I said to this couple, you can buy this unit in Waikoloa Village. It is going to be a bit of a crapshoot in the future.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we don't want a crapshoot in the future. And I said, well, what if we bought something down in the resorts? It's going to be more expensive, but it's a little bit relative, right? We're going to pay a cheaper price for a condo unit in Waikoloa Village. We're going to pay a more expensive price down in Waikoloa Beach, but the nightly rental in Waikoloa Beach is going to be higher. The occupancy rate is going to be higher. Mm-hmm. Up in Waikoloa Village, the nightly rate's going to be less. The occupancy rate is going to be less. So it all kind of evens out,
mm-hmm.
right?
And it's less of a gamble as far as going into the one that's already resort zoned. Yep.
Sure. And these folks made the decision that they weren't going to take the chance, and they ended up paying more money and buying a condo in Waikoloa Beach.
Gotcha. So that's it.
And that's why it pays to work with somebody who, can help with that strategic kind of thinking.
The strategic decisions, You got your finger on the pulse and you're keeping track of things. And
mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times clients feel more at ease or confident when they're working with somebody that's giving them advice. I want to sometimes beat agents with the rubber hose when they turn to their clients and say, well, what do you think? Wait, what do you mean, what do you think? I'm paying you a lot of money to give me some good advice to make a good decision. So anyway, thanks so much.
Yeah,
Dan.
as I like to tell people, my job is that I am an official mind maker-upper.
Yes.
My job is to help you make up your mind, right, of which way you're going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People always go, well, I'll be here whenever you're ready.
Yes.
Agents say that all the time. I tell agents, don't ever say that. Don't say to the client, I'll be here whenever you're ready, because you're doing them a disservice. You need to tell them when to be ready, right?
I know.
You need to tell them when there's a great opportunity or a great, the chance to buy the right property at the right time. You need to tell them that.
Yeah. People want to be told what to do, but it's the way that you do it that projects confidence. I've seen Dan talking to clients. He will literally say, I'm not sure what I want to do. And then he says, turn around. And then he kicks you in the hiney with his ulukai slippers. And then they're like, okay, let's do it. Let's write it up.
No, he does not kick anybody.
Yeah. No, just like from an advice standpoint,
yes,
not physically.
With the advice.
Literally.
With the advice.
Figuratively, not literally. So, okay.
Well, thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, good talking with you.
Okay.
Aloha.
Okay, so that was Dan over on the Big Islands. He is an awesome agent, and if any of our listeners want to get a hold of any of our KW Big Island agents, just reach out to us. We'll make that connection.
The good news is we've got the connections on all the islands, and the reason why we developed, as opposed to just referral agents, we call them referral partners. Why are they referral partners, Adrienne?
Well, because we have a whole standard that they need to follow, which is similar to what the standard is on our team.
Okay.
And we have, a long-standing relationship with these people.
Yeah, and then we set the expectations for how we want our clients to be taken care of, so that it's a very similar experience as opposed to opposite or terrible. Yes. And the reason we started doing that is because when we run our Barbara Corcoran commercial, it plays
all over the state,
of Hawaii. A lot of our radio, this radio show,
it hits the whole entire state.
It hits the whole entire state. You had something, Adrienne?
Well, I do want to read a review.
Oh, please do.
From Keegan.
From Keegan, yes.
So Keegan says, Team Lally helped my client who had a difficult situation and needed to move to the mainland. They masterfully advertised my client's house and did more than above and beyond with their service.
They really made a miracle happen, and we couldn't have done this without the help of Laura and Howard. I strongly recommend using Team Lally. They provided a service that sets the whole new industry standard. Absolutely amazing. 4 exclamation points from Keegan. Thank you so much, Keegan. And we've become Keegan's BFF, best friend forever, when it comes to
all his Hawaii referrals.
So yes. The thing, I wanted to share with you guys it's our own version of the Clear Your Throat median sale price for single family homes and condos on Oahu. So in the month of December, we always going to give you the updates in the current month, but it's always going to be for the past month because that's when they come out. So for the median sale price, they used to do the change in price year over year, but they don't. I'd have to do a separate research. And this is from our awesome Honolulu Board of Realtors. As members, they provide this. By the way, Honolulu Board of Realtors, the Prez, all the people down there, thank you for your hard work in sending this out every month to all of the agents that are members.
It's very helpful.
For you people that are not members, too bad you don't get it. But for the members, median price for a single family home on Oahu, actually, they did put a little comment here, dips below $1 million in December.
Yes.
So 996,500. They had 182 home sales. Year over year, that's down about 10%. Adrienne, what about the condos?
So the median sale price for condos, $510,000.
No way.
And 272 condo sales in December. Now, this is, again, compared to December 2022, right?
Yeah, year over year.
Yep. And that they're down almost 25%.
Yeah, so a lot less inventory. Prices are stabilizing because I think even when you have the low inventory, typically if you had low inventory, prices go up. Well, what's putting the
interest rates are kind of keeping those prices in check.
Party pooper, bummer, wet blanket, rain on your parade is the high interest rates. The good news, though, the little ray of sunshine is that you have less buyers to compete with. So if you're thinking about buying a home, upgrading, moving to Hawaii, PCSing, I would tell you right now, now's a good time to buy. And you know what? You know when's the best time to buy a home? When
you need to.
When it's in alignment with your family's goals and priorities. When is it the best time to sell a home? When it's in alignment with your family's goals and priorities.
Don't try and time the market.
No.
No. Yep.
You're not the Warren Buffett of residential, sales. Just it's a long play. I will tell you that in 1965, the median sale price of a single family home in the U.S. was about $60,000. Fast forward to today, $450,000.
And here's something interesting that we do on our team is, we take a consultative approach. And, for us, we're looking at, does it make sense or is it possible for our client to hold on to the home? Does this make sense in order for them to achieve that goal, whether it's to right size, maybe like move up or go to a smaller place? Do they absolutely need to sell?
Yeah. I want to talk about discernment with our clients because every once in a while, not too often, we'll get a client that'll say, I've decided to go with another agent. We're going to be vulnerable with you. We're not perfect. We're not for everybody. We don't get everybody who calls us, I want to list with Team Lally. And every once in a while, we'll get somebody that says, I've decided to go in a new direction. They're just being polite. They're being polite. Translation, I'm not using you. I'm using somebody else. So I want to help you with that because, I'll say a lot of the times when I call these clients to say, hey, And it is just to get sincerely and authentically, just to get some feedback on how we can do better. I get some lame vanilla ice cream answer like, well, there was nothing specifically that was done wrong. And, there wasn't anything wrong with our team or anything like that. We just decided to go in a different direction. And I'm like, baloney.
What was it? Just tell us.
Because if nothing was wrong with the people or what we were talking about, then you would have listed your home with us.
That's right.
Stop being nice. And the reason why I'm not saying like be rude and come call us and yell and scream at us, but I'm telling you right now, whether it's in your personal life or your business life, you are doing the business or the people around you a huge favor by honestly giving them feedback. No matter, and by the way, no feedback is brutal. No feedback is harsh. Regardless, I granted some feedback can be harsh and brutal, but you're taking it that way. We don't. At Team Lally, we look at feedback as what?
It's a gift and it's an opportunity for growth.
Yeah. And that's why right up the front, we always say, fire us and pay nothing.
That's right.
Because if any time, even from the beginning to the middle to the end, we're not doing what we said that we said we would do, you should fire us.
Okay, so on that note, we are going to take a break. But stay with us. When we come back, we'll be talking with Bradley Maruyama of AllState Insurance. We're going to talk about updates on insurance and key insights to ensure that your home stays protected.
So stay with us.
Hey, Sean Hannity here, talking with the only real estate agent in your market I recommend. Adrienne Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally Real Estate Group of Keller Williams, Honolulu. It's more important than ever that you have your house in top condition when you sell it. Can you give some suggestions on how to do that?
Sean, homes need to be move-in ready. The basics are decluttering, depersonalizing, professional cleaning, and getting all the honey-do lists done. We have the resources to do a full remodel and or simple things like cleaning, painting, and landscaping.
How will that impact the listing price?
Ultimately, by working with a team of professionals with a ton of resources and strategies, you will net more money in a shorter amount of time. That's it. Let's go.
Great update. Thank you for keeping us informed. Put the most experience and the best marketing to work for you. Call Team Lally now at 799-9596 or online at teamlally.com. That's teamlally.com.
Taking one cash offer for your home doesn't have to be your only option. I'm Barbara Corcoran, and especially in today's current market, having a local real estate agent who offers great marketing and options that are customized to fit your needs is smart. In Honolulu, the agents I trust are Adrienne Lally and Attilio Leonardi. They can give you a guarantee to sell your home, flexible fees, or up to $10,000 in cash to help with repairs. Get the option that's right for you. Go to teamlally.com.
Welcome back, and thanks for listening to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. I'm Adrienne.
And I'm Attilio.
And if you have any questions, you can give us a call at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
We just took a call from Lisa from Waianae. She's got a used love seat that she has for... No, I'm just kidding. I was hearing this podcast where it was like a radio swap meet that was real popular. Maybe we'll do that. No, we're not going to do that. No, we're not going to do that. So I'm just joking with you guys. But speaking of the radio swap meet, share with them what you're going to share with them.
Yes. So we're going to bring on our guest.
That was code for I forgot what I was going to talk about.
Okay. Our guest today was born and raised right here in Hawaii. He obtained his Bachelor of Business Administration from the University of Hawaii at Manoa. With over 2 decades at AllState Insurance, he's established strong ties with local families, gaining valuable insights into their needs. Proudly owning Maruyama and Associates, AllState Insurance in Hawaii, he continues to serve his community. Please welcome our guest, Bradley Maruyama.
Hey, Bradley.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Oh, real quick for our listeners that I remember, if you have any questions you guys want us to talk about on the radio, just send us an email, info@teamlally.com, or give us a call.
799-9596. And, so for Bradley, this week he's our featured guest.
Yes.
And he does call in, pretty frequently with his tips of the week. So we just wanted to give
a question for Bradley.
Yeah. So if you have a question for Bradley, we'll make sure to get it to him and he can answer it on, a subsequent week during his tip of the week.
Yeah. All right, Bradley, what you got for us this week?
All right. So, we went over the hurricane increase with Zephyr Insurance over the last couple of weeks. And, I was kind of torn. I've been talking to a lot of brokers. I've been talking to other agents, and no one's really being proactive about it. So if you are listening and you do have Zephyr Insurance, it's very important to, number one, take a look at what you got. And number two, if the agency you're with isn't being proactive and reaching out to you, maybe you should reach out back to your agent and see if there's other options. Because if not, once you pay that premium and it goes over the renewal date, there's no way to cancel that Zephyr policy. You're going to be stuck with it for a year.
Yeah.
Well, so, I want to say, as one of Bradley's customers, we talked about this.
Yeah.
And I think what you said, it was like April or May, we've got to, make some adjustments in order to avoid this whole situation. Right?
So start in February for you procrastinators.
Yeah. Adrienne's one is coming up in May, but we're already looking at it and making sure that it doesn't get paid by her escrow account and get stuck with that $2,000 increase. So it's very significant. We had correspondence that it was going to be an average of 60, but what we've seen for the February and March renewals, it's 100% rate increase. So whether it's a superior frame, a single wall frame, a double wall frame, it's about 100% rate increase. So we rather get be proactive and build that relationship with the client, knowing that we as an agency is being proactive, and so they don't say in 7 months, why did my escrow account go up 200? Why didn't you give me another option? So we're taking a little different approach on this situation. What I also wanted to let people know, because some people will shop during this time, and it's not just shopping with from leaving AllState, but even maybe leaving another carrier. But I want people to be aware that when you are quoting with another carrier, to get some recommendations, but also look what apples to apples would be, because there are carriers out there in the hurricane business that don't do less than a 5% hurricane deductible. So what that means is if you have a $500,000 structure and you have a 5% deductible, you're carrying a $25,000 deductible. And I even have some loan officers and some lenders that do this every day, and they're like, oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm glad you looked at my policy. I didn't realize that a $32,000 deductible. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And the reason why the carrier is doing it is it takes off a lot of liability off their shoulders. If there's a Category 1 hurricane that comes through and the roof blows off, technically the insured is self-insuring their roof.
Yes.
A roof will cost about $25,000 to $35,000. So it does alleviate a lot of exposure for the carriers. So keep in mind that when you are shopping, that you look at the hurricane deductible, because there is a carrier that does no lower than 5%.
Yeah.
So you may not even realize that that's what's happening until you do this review.
Or your roof of your house gets blown off.
Yeah, so let's do the review. Now, Bradley, if any of our listeners just want to call you, maybe they're not with AllState, maybe they're with another brand.
Yeah.
But, how do you handle that? How do you help them with their reviews?
Yeah, so some people don't like to give us declaration pages. So a declaration page would be something that has your VIN numbers, your coverages. And they don't want us to see it because they think that we're going to make it cheaper than what they currently have. But all these rates are set. So the best way to do it is, scan and email me or meet me in person and do an apples-to-apples comparison, because if I can't do any better, I can at least give you some advice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I can do a quote based off an address, but I will be pulling whatever I can see in the county records. And it's not always accurate, but I can at least give you a comparison pretty close to what I can see. Here's something that's important when we do these reviews. A lot of people still have building replacement cost per square foot to be around $225, $250. That's very low in today's environment. We've been quoting people $325 to $350 a foot.
Okay.
You know, depending on the makeup, but $225 to $250 a square foot is a little low. So to give you an idea, if you have 1,000 square foot living area home, right now we at AllState would probably advise you getting $350,000 to replace that structure if it burned down to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very, very common. You know, 4 out of every 5 declaration pages I'm looking at is still at about $200 to $250 a foot. So
it hasn't been updated. So they've not been updated.
Hasn't been updated. Yes.
Well, I mean, I want to say too, for people that are not with Bradley, you also have this other thing that we like to call the moment of truth.
The moment of truth.
So let's talk a little bit about that, because I feel like, the experience that we have, with Bradley and his team versus, I mean, I don't know. I've always been with Bradley and his team, but I hear nightmares about other people that do not work with Bradley and his team. And let's just talk about this moment of truth and what happens.
Yeah. So moment of truth, we've talked about it for 15 years now. And it's basically, a lot of people are paying premiums for 10, 15, 20, some people 30 years, right? They never use their policy.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be a given, but this is when the agent has to do his work, right? He's been getting paid premium, but this is the time when the agent or agency should help handhold an insured and walk them through that claims process. So when they're uncomfortable or don't understand something, that's when the moment of truth kicks in. What is my agent going to do for me? Is he going to help me set up my rent-a-car? Is he going to help me get my appraisal done on my banged-up car? When I'm in a pickle and the property manager and the insurance agency and the association claims adjusters are all fighting, is my agent going to step up and assist me? So that's the moment of truth with our office, is that when you feel like you're stuck, are we going to help you? Absolutely.
By the way, I just want to provide some clarification. In the mainland, we get into a pickle, but in Hawaii, we get in the deep kimchi.
Deep kimchi.
Now, Bradley, I know that you have shared, we've been on our show on and off many, many times over the last 10 plus years.
Yeah.
And one moment of truth that really just stands out to me is I think this happened, it was on Christmas Day. You're out there helping your customer with some major issues. Oh, I remember that one. That really, that stood out.
Yeah, it was at Keolalai. I still remember it. And it was Christmas Day, and she was stuck, and all her flooring was up, and the water mitigation company left. I remember that one, and it was on Christmas Day. So,
and Bradley arrived in a flying sleigh, being led by reindeer, and he came in through the chimney. Oh no, that was Santa Claus. Never mind.
Single parent, and the floor was in shambles, and she was crying, and she goes, "What do I do? I need help."
Yeah,
and somebody at least turn off the fans or give me a temporary place to stay.
Yeah.
But I do remember that instance, yes. Christmas Day.
Yeah. And that's the key, because a lot of times it's in your guys' commercial with that guy, Mayhem. He's not going to show up on your calendar. It's just going to happen. That's the whole point of the commercial, is are you ready for Mayhem to show up at your front door? It's not going to be a planned event. But you can count on Bradley and his team.
And I just want to also state that it's just like with Keller Williams or any other brand.
Yeah.
It's, Bradley is part of AllState, but it's Bradley and his team that really, they show up at that moment of truth.
Bradley, I had a new acronym that I introduced in a past show. I'm going to reintroduce it in this show, but I'm reading a book called Never Lose a Customer Again. And that's Adrienne opening up on Heineken right now. No, she's opening up on Celsius. Is that we have business to business. We have business to customers, And the new one that everybody should think about is human being to human being. Mm-hmm. When you went to that single mom's house
on Christmas
Day and she's all freaking out, that wasn't AllState Insurance helping an insured. Mm-mm. That was Bradley Maruyama
showing up for his customer,
showing up for that person.
Yeah,
human being to human being. So good job on that, Bradley.
You know, it's funny. It was December 31st, 2013 when we put her up in a hotel. That was the exact day. It was New Year's Eve. It wasn't Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
It was New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. Either way, I mean.
It was the holidays.
It was a holiday that most people, when their clients call on that day, they're all like, oh, man, I don't know if I can come out right now. Bradley's like,
I'll be there.
Right there.
Yeah.
I'll be there. He was even singing it.
Oh, that was like 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 10 years ago.
10 years ago. What else, Bradley?
Yeah, so, it's along the lines of the moment of truth, but I'll tell you something we've been struggling with our industry, but it's important for the listeners to know.
Yeah.
Non-renewals is becoming more and more common these days. Okay, so non-renewals, I'm going to talk mainly with HO6 or condo policies.
Tell people what non-renewal means. Well, what is non-renewal?
Non-renewal means XYZ carrier is no longer going to insure you, and you have until tomorrow to go and find something. Okay, so
how much notice do they normally give you? Is it really like a short notice like that, or is it?
Well, it's at the time of the renewal, so
like this
30 days.
This
maybe.
One prospect had 60 days,
okay,
and the agent said, I'm pretty sure that we can get this approved because one of the claims wasn't paid out on.
Gotcha.
Well, it came down to January 13th, and the non-renewal was on the 14th, and the agent said, I got bad news. We aren't going to renew you even if zero was paid out last year to your book. So we had a day to find insurance, and no one would, because there's two claims within 3 years, and it was a Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock, nobody was going to make an approval. So this poor guy had no insurance over a whole weekend because the underwriters are gone. There's two claims, and it took us till yesterday to find someone to even consider it. So when we talk about the moment of truth, it's not just when you file a claim. I would also tell you that part of it is advising you that, let's look at the whole situation before putting this claim in, because sometimes an $1,800 claim after a $1,000 deductible is paid out, you're filing this claim for $800. Sometimes we have to do an assessment and say, okay, do we really want to go and file this claim, or let's go get an estimate, let's have water mitigation dry up this unit, and let's see what the scope of damage is going to be prior to me opening a claim.
Yeah.
I'll let my agency know so he can document this. But if it's only going to be $1,800 to $2,000, maybe I'll pay this one out of pocket.
Yeah.
And so this one insurer said, if I knew what the ramifications could have been, maybe I wouldn't have been so quick to just put in a claim.
So you're telling them, slow down to hurry up.
So Bradley, when this happens, where they get dropped and there's a mortgage on the home, can you talk a little bit about this lender-placed insurance and the kind of costs that you can see with the lender-placed insurance?
Yes. Okay. So I've been seeing anywhere from $2,500 to $6,000 for forced place coverage.
Yeah.
Okay. So what that means, the lender needs to make sure that if that house burns down, and the insured be made
covered.
whole, so that they default on the loan.
Yeah.
So most times they're going to force place. I'll tell you this: it's been 2 weeks, and the lender still has not found someone to force place this policy.
Oh wow! Ooh.
So I think the HO6 stuff is not the regular kind of insurance they're dealing with. Yeah.
I called Sue Savio, who does a lot of the AOL insurance. She goes, they don't offer anything. So I was like, man, where do I go? So we're looking at a surplus lines carrier now for this individual. I won't even get paid on it.
Yeah.
because I have to send it to a broker.
Yeah.
But he may be looking at $3,300 a month for this. A year for this HO6 policy.
Wow, that's like as opposed
really
to
high.
what, 3,300? Because that
For a year? For
I don't know.
HO6?
I got HO6 on my 2 investment properties. I don't even imagine it being that high. What is it? What was it before?
He was paying $289, I think, for the whole year.
289 to 3,300.
Wow.
Yeah.
Woo!
Now, is this like a common thing that we're seeing in a lot of situations, or this is an unusual situation?
No, it's becoming more and more
Commonplace. It's nothing to the building. I mean, folks, here's the deal. You'd be like, this is baloney, they can't do that. It's in your mortgage. When you got the mortgage and you signed it, they're not going to give you a mortgage, right, Bradley? You know that. We got to get the insurance binder from you before we can close the transaction. Not one lender on this planet is going to give you a mortgage on a property if you're not properly insured. And so, I mean, just looking at the economics, is it just the amount of claims that are coming in? It's not making it profitable for these carriers to have the premiums they're collecting because of the amount of claims that are coming in. Is that the situation?
That is the situation. So I can give you an example just for our company in general. So we're not writing any brand new HO6 policies unless you were a renter and had renter's insurance through us. Well, that's the only exception we've been making. But to give you an idea, for every dollar we take in, we were paying out $2. So very unprofitable line.
Ooh.
That is a business that is losing money.
Not smart.
Money. We're not non-renewing anyone, but
trying to clean up the books.
We're not. Yeah, we're trying to clean it up, and it started when we started seeing these association deductibles increase. So once upon a time, $5,000 or $10,000 for an association deductible was pretty common. Now we're seeing $50,000 to $75,000. What that means is the frequency and the severity of claims in a condo has gone up 10, 15, 20 times on an HO6 policy because no longer is the association policy paying out. It's just HO6. HO6 that's typically paying out on all these water damage claims.
Yeah, because the HO6... Yeah, because I remember when I first bought my investment properties, I know nowadays I think most of the condos are requiring you to have the HO6. But when I had my stuff 10, 15 years ago, they weren't. And I was like, HO6, what's that? But it seems like because of all the claims through the AOAO, the association insurance, they're trying to like, hey, we need to spread some of this liability
spread it around
back to the condo owners. I guess that's what's happening there with these higher deductibles.
Yeah, so it started with the associations, right? They were getting a harder and harder time finding a policy to cover the association.
Yeah.
And so carriers got creative. Well, we'll insure your building with a higher deductible.
Yeah.
So in turn, now your loss assessment coverage or your building coverage now has to meet the requirement of $50,000. So, but it's basically insuring your unit for up to the first $50,000 worth of damage.
Yeah.
Now, a typical water damage claim for your unit will cost anywhere from $4,000 to $12,000. But now, if there's multiple units damaged, now your HO6 could be responsible for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000.
Yeah, and you got to keep in mind the higher, what comes with that nice view is the liability of all the condos in the stack below you. That's how we know, like all the plumbing, electrical, it's in columns within the building. So if you have 4 units per floor, then whatever, if you're on a corner, if you're 20 stories up, you got 20 owners.
Right below.
Yeah, Adrienne and I had a bottom floor unit at Patsapunulu. People are like, where's that? Anyway, we just remodeled the place and it was backing up. Not because of anything in our unit, is because the units above were using the water, but there was a sewage line back up outside the unit. But then when it starts backing up, the water is not going to go all the way back up the column. It's going to come out at the lowest point of gravity, which is the ground floor unit. But
that was fun.
That was fun. We took care of it. But anyway.
So, Bradley, we are nearing the end of our show. Is there any last words of wisdom for our listeners before we let you go?
Yeah. Besides, call your mom.
The words of wisdom.
Yeah.
That you guys always end my my call with. But
yes.
Again, give us a call. There are people out there that do call or email us.
Yeah.
Good.
To review their policies. That's the most important thing to do because, you are getting renewals and declaration pages. Some people say, "Wow, my agent never told me I needed this coverage." But if there was ever a complaint filed, they're going to say, "Well, did you ever look at your declaration page? You would have seen that you only had this amount of coverage." So review your policy. It's very important.
Yeah.
Review your policy.
Review your policy.
More importantly, review it with someone like Bradley. Actually, just review it with Bradley.
Bradley is like
just
Paul.
Call him.
He's like Paul Revere running down the street in your condo in the hallway going, "Your HO6 insurance is going higher. Your HO6 insurance is going higher." Let alone the British are coming. So, thank you, Bradley.
Thank you, Bradley, as always.
Excellent
info.
Thank you.
All right. So that was Bradley Maruyama.
Yeah.
He's one of our experts we trust. If you go to the resource tab over at teamlally.com, you will find all of the experts we trust and lots of videos from Bradley.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, folks, you're thinking about selling a home, come talk to us about not selling your home.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a pattern interrupt there? Yeah. You're thinking about selling your home. Let's have a discussion about not selling your home. And what we mean is we're going to focus on your goals and priorities, not automatically going down the path of selling it. Let's explore all the options. That's what we do in all our consultations.
That's right.
It's easy.
It's easy.
No headlocks, no high pressure sales, no nothing. Purely educating our clients on what they can do. And if we can't do something for you, we're going to tell you. Well, at least we'll find a resource that can do it for you. All right. Anything else? Because we got this is it.
Well, I do want to talk about the home that we have for sale in Wailua.
Okay.
We did just do a $200,000 price adjustment.
Yeah.
So, Attilio, why don't you just read one of those?
I'll read one. Well-kept pasture, barn, greenhouse, and processing center creates endless opportunities of equestrian and agricultural activities. Whether you seek a peaceful retreat or an inspiring oasis, this certified pre-owned property has it all. I didn't flub any of those words. That was good.
Good job. Yes.
There was some big words in there.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, and thank you to our sponsors.
Jody and Derek of Pacific Rim Mortgage.
Bradley of AllState Insurance.
Kenji with Pillar to Post Home Inspections.
John of Kilauea Pest Control.
Duke with Hawaii Pacific Property Management.
Robinson of Fine Line Paintwork.
Jake with Skyta Construction, Roofing and Solar.
Scott with Zero Res Hawaii.
Amphi with the Estate Planning Group.
Jason Wu, Attorney at Law.
Jeff with the Loan Depot.
Rhino of Hawaii Unified.
Janice with Dream House Drafting. If you want to talk to Attilio, his voice is very high, and we want to thank all our sponsors. Just go to teamlally.com.
We also want to give a big thank you to Leah Rodriguez, our producer here in the studio.
Chee-hoo.
Make sure to tune in next week. We'll have an awesome guest talking about something that'll change your life.
Forever! This is the Team Lally Real Estate Show. Home in the Guaranteed
Sold program. If we can't sell your home at the agreed upon price and or time frame, we'll have it bought for cash. Thanks and aloha!